Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to episode 22 of Civilization 5. All there is to say about this playthrough at the moment is we are doing rather well. The only real downside is I think we had this one in the bag so long ago that we've been playing the waiting game to actually get to a point where we can win via the victory type we are going for, which is the diplomatic victory. Now we only control 24 delegates at the moment and we actually need 40 to win a world leader proposal. Not that we are even into the United Nations yet, so we can't actually get a world leader proposal, but that is ultimately what our goal is going to be, is we want to have 40 votes. That is how we are going to win. And also if you look at sort of other victory types, scientific, I mean, no players have completed the Apollo program. We could go for that. I mean, we've got it unlocked. I just haven't put any research into it yet. Askia controls Spain's original capital. I control Askia's original capital. Apart from that, as far as cultural victory goes, we are getting influential over quite a lot of people. I don't think we're going to backdoor a cultural victory, but let us go into the next turn because we are going to start dealing with the voting because the World Congress will be in session. And hopefully we might be able to force everything through in our direction. Let's have a little look and see if that is going to be possible. And Napoleon has declared war on Darius, so he was going through for Persia. Well, that answers that question. I did wonder why France was marching all of their troops for our territory. Wasn't sure if he was going for Persia or if he was going for Carthage, but that answers that question there. I know I did rescue Persia once, so I recovered Persepolis from the Carthaginians and gave it back to Persia. That was mainly because I didn't really want to be right next door to Dido. Not too bothered about being a neighbour with France because we are already friendly with them. Okay, so we've completed the Hubble Space Telescope. That gives us 2 free great scientists, which is nice. And the World Congress now becomes the United Nations. The world has entered the atomic era, either because half of the civilizations have reached it, or one civilization has reached the era beyond it. The fledgling idea of a permanent peace takes root in the World Congress, which is reborn as the United Nations. A special session is called to choose the host of this powerful new diplomatic force. The United Nations will continue to decide matters as before, but regular sessions will alternate with sessions attempting to choose a world leader, making a diplomatic victory possible. So that is what we are going for. This era, 6 delegates for the host civilization and 4 delegates for other civilizations, plus 2 delegates per city-state ally. So, let's see what's going to happen here. First of all, the United Nations is now in session. Now, it's going to jump instantly to host. We actually only need 40 delegates to win, and we have 40 delegates. Now, this isn't choosing the world leader. This is just choosing the host. We're going to choose ourselves as host, of course. We want that to remain, because if we remain host, we will still get the 6 votes. Everybody else added together, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. We can't be outvoted even if everybody all votes for the same person, which they won't because they all vote for themselves. So that is a very good start there. Okay, so what do we have? We've completed the Hubble Space Telescope here in Athens. What else could we get online? What do we need to get online? Not a lot, really. Let's do the Apollo program just because we can. We have some great scientists, so what we're going to do is we're just going to discover tech, simply because there's no point at this late stage in the game building academies. We're just going to queue up our next science as well, because we've got computers queued up, and then I think we want to go into... What do we want to go into? We could just go into nuclear fusion so we could have some giant death robots, because I've built them before, but I haven't built them in any of my playthroughs that I can remember. It will take quite a while to get there because there's a lot of other tech that we do have to backfill, but it won't actually take all that long because there's only a few turns for each one. So let's pop that. Computers. That gives us computers, and we're 1 turn away from atomic theory. What I could actually do now is change 99% reduction in the effectiveness of enemy spies in the city which it is built. All other cities in the civilization get a plus 25% reduction to enemy spy effectiveness, and negates the tourism bonus from players' internet technology. We're going to go for the firewall first because that will help to stop Dido stealing tech from us. Not that that is a major problem right now, but it has been annoying me for quite some time. We could also then reveal uranium on the map and complete the Manhattan Project. Now that would certainly allow us to build bombs. We're not necessarily going to use them because we're not playing an aggressive game. Also, of course, because we've got satellites, we have revealed the entire map, although we did do that on the last video. Discovering uranium will be quite nice because uranium actually gives you quite a decent amount of production, especially if you have uranium on a hill. So we'll have to see if we do have any of that within our territories. And obviously we will see who becomes the host, which we know is going to be us anyway. It's not going to be a massive surprise there. Another new unit from Sophia. Still doing very well on money, very well on science, very well on everything right now, actually. A few turns away from getting another social policy, so we can throw that into rationalism as well. So we've discovered atomic theory. Greece remains host, as we expected. We do have some uranium down here next to Gao, so I'm actually quite glad that I grabbed that. Not too sure what these guys are doing or where they're going, but we'll get them on there. As you can see, it's actually quite nice. It gives us, currently on that slot, 2 food, 2 production, 3 gold, and 3 science. We are going to have to clear the jungle and get rid of that trading post, but it will be really nice to get that uranium hooked up. I think that is the only source of uranium we have, actually. So I'm actually quite glad that we did take out Gao, or we wouldn't have had any of that at all. Of course, we have got some around places like Kuala Lumpur, so what we could do is we could go to Kuala Lumpur and give them a gift. We could give them gold to improve a resource and click on that, and then instantly that's upgraded and we get 8 uranium from Kuala Lumpur. There's probably more city-states around that have uranium. Kathmandu have some just outside of their borders. Kathmandu have actually got quite a lot just outside of their borders. 1, 2, 3. It's not going to be close enough for a TK to actually get it, so maybe Kathmandu's borders will expand in that direction and we'll have the uranium from them. I don't think there's any other around that I can see. I'm just having a quick scout around because you never know. Sometimes you do find it that's just slightly outside of your borders, and sometimes it is worth doing something a little bit cheeky to try and nab it, but I can't actually see any around there. Sophia don't have any. Cape Town don't have any and still haven't reached that coal yet. Genoa don't have any. Let's go over here. Colombo, they don't have any either. I mean, we are friendly with like all the city-states. Well, allied with all the city-states. Tyr don't have any. Hong Kong doesn't have any. Zanzibar doesn't have any. Yeah, so I think we're going to get all that we possibly can anyway. So, let us continue with things. We know that we remain host. Everybody else voted for themselves, just as expected. Oh, that is very nice. We've actually got rocket artillery was the unit that was gifted to us. That is quite nice. Let's get you up a little bit into more useful territory so we can respond if we need to. Let's go on to the next turn, because we don't really need to do an awful lot else with you there. Turns until the next world leader proposal. Well, that is going to be our win condition, 11 turns. So we are possibly 11 turns away from the win. That's what we're going to head for. May not actually get to see those giant death robots in this Let's Play, which is a little bit of a shame because I would have liked to have shown them. But we will do one game at some point where we just go for a domination victory, but we splurge up the science tree and get the giant death robots because they're fun. They're very, very stompy. France have got an awful lot of units. I mean, I'm not worried about them because I know they're not coming for me. And to be honest, I could probably deal with them if need be. They're only on cannons, but Persia's going to be in trouble. Persia's actually got quite a bit of uranium there, actually. So that would give France... I mean, France, I don't think are high enough up the tech tree to make use of the uranium, but that would certainly help them. They've got a 2 and a 4. Well, it's not all that much, I suppose. They've only got 6. And we're getting 4 there. Okay, the United Nations is now in session. So we actually get 40 votes. I'm just listening to that sound as a very, very low plane goes over, so apologies if you can hear that. So, Persia actually want to repeal voltology. Now, we have 40 votes, and let's add up everybody else's. As we said, we've got 4, 8, 12, 18, Oh, it's 4, isn't it? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So it's 24 versus 40. Now, we can't split our votes both ways and defeat a vote of 24. So let's look how many people could vote to repeal Voltology. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I don't think that America will vote to repeal. Simply because they actually have Voltology, and last time we did this, they didn't repeal it. So I actually think that if we put 21 votes into this, assuming America doesn't vote to repeal it, we will be at the 20 votes that could go into it. Now, also, World Ideology Freedom, which we have proposed, 2 of these other civs actually have the same ideology that we do. Askia has the same ideology, as does France, which means they will probably vote for this. So I'm going to put my 19 votes into here, and hopefully both of them will go through. In fact, yeah, let's go for the full 19. Might not work, but it should do. So we'll see what happens. So we have a cargo ship here. Where were you going before? You were going to Carthage. Looks like that's probably still the best route for you gold-wise. So let's continue with that. Still brings us in the most science as well. And we can go on to the next turn. There's going to be quite a lot of turns we could just go on to next turn. I could also go around and upgrade... yeah, stop bullying city-states for money. We could go through to all of our artillery and upgrade them to rocket artillery, which we probably will because it does make our force limit stronger. We've certainly got the money to do it, and we've certainly got the money coming in to be able to afford the maintenance costs, so I'm not worried about that at all. We see some Moroccan units running through America there. Also looks like America's mobilising for something. If they want to try coming after me, they're more than welcome to. Or are they at war with Persia? I'm not actually sure at the moment. Let's just have a quick look at the diplomatic overview. Global politics. Washington is at war with the Songhai, actually. That's quite strange. Okay. City-states are doing their thing. I'm not really worried about being attacked by anybody now. And exactly what we wanted to happen worked. Repeal world religion Voltology fails. It was not passed. 3 from the Songhai, 2 from... oh, America did actually put 2 yays in there. But we did happen to win that. And also, we also got 3 yays from France and 1 yay from the Songhai. So we've now actually got the world ideology in place as well, which is all very, very good stuff. What we are going to do here is upgrade any units that we can. So let's start getting these artillery upgraded into mobile artillery. I don't have many artillery around. We could also turn our land ships into tanks, which we probably should do because... that will make us look a little bit more stompy as well. Can't upgrade our infantry yet at this point. I'm sure we did have some more land ships and things around. Not sure where I parked them all now. They're down here near Gao, so let's get these upgraded. And we do have a few more artillery around, so let's just do that. It does cost us a fair bit of money, and they do get some XP for doing so as well. But we're still nearly at 20,000 gold. Can't grumble about that. Okay, booster science gained from research agreements. Now, that I'm not all that bothered about. However, adopting all the policies in rationalism tree grants as a free technology and allows us to purchase great scientists with faith, which would be really, really nice. So we are going to do that. So we can pick a free science now. Now let's just have a look in what we wanted to go for. We wanted to try and get ourselves nuclear fusion. We know we're going to need these things here. Let us grab robotics because we can, because it is free and that helps us get towards nuclear fusion. So we're going to get there quite quickly now. We have robotics. What was it that robotics actually gives us on its own? Missile cruisers and a spaceship factory, neither of which we particularly need right now. Pharsalos, you can go ahead and... you might as well do the Manhattan project just so that we have got it done. Knossos has finished its factory, so you can go ahead and do the Apollo program. It doesn't really matter where it is done. Although I do think that the I can't remember if the spaceship has to be assembled where the Apollo program was completed. Either way, it doesn't really matter because we're not going for that type of victory. It's just nice to get that done. You guys are going to build a mine. Now, we will lose the 3 gold from the trading post, and we'll lose the 1 science because it's in a jungle, and we'll lose the 1 food because of the jungle, but we will actually gain 4 production, and that will make this a 6 production tile and give us access to the uranium. Also just noticed another artillery there that we can happily upgrade. What else do we have around? You are just going to sit tight for now. I think you're in a decent enough space. So as you can see, there is now 10 turns until the next world leader proposal. So this is most likely going to be the last video of the series, even if it ends up being a little bit longer. I know sometimes these videos do run on close to an hour, but there's very little point me ending it in another 15 minutes and then possibly coming back for one more turn on the next video. Just to point out while this is grinding through, if this video goes out on schedule, it should actually be Friday, and I'm going to be away over the weekend, and this is one of the reasons why I've actually been getting some of these videos done and uploaded in advance, and also why I've only really been running 2 series, not 3, because it's a little bit of a busy time for me at the moment, but hopefully starting from next week I'll be able to do a little bit more variety on the channel, get a couple more series going, may even possibly look into doing Europa Universalis 4 as a sort of a very, very basic beginner's tutorial thing, but not entirely sure how that is going to work out at the moment. After recent elections, our influence fell in Sofia. Don't think I'm too worried about that though, because we are still very, very influential with them, and rigged the local election in Colombo. What we could do is we could take you out of Colombo and put you into Sofia, just so we can battle against whoever is trying to reduce our influence there. All of the tanks and things, obviously, I woke up because I upgraded them all. All of these rocket artillery are going to want putting back into alert mode. Yes, and that one. And that one. On to the next turn. I very much doubt that anything really interesting is going to happen now. Being denounced by Carthage. I'm just going to go there into war. If she wants to come at me, she's more than welcome to. I don't think no one has a chance of beating us at this point. Unless something really, really strange and drastic happens that I haven't foreseen. I can't see it happening, but you never know. Strange things do happen sometimes. You want to give me salt for gold? Well, you want to give me gold for salt, I should say. And I'm quite happy for that deal to continue.
Is the following trade of interest to you?
See, now that's actually a good deal, but for 3 gold is not an awful lot, is it? Surely you can afford to give me more than that.
Of course not.
Will you give me 4? No, okay, I'm not going to sell you wine then. You need the wine more than I need the gold. Let's put it that way. In fact, what is their happiness like? If we actually just have a look at America. Yeah, they're on -19 from their revolutionary rate. I mean, overall, they're on +9. But certainly you would think that they would have, you know, coughed up a few more gold than that for some wine to help with their happiness issues. But fine. If they want to remain unhappy, they are more than welcome to. I'm not even sure if that counted on that turn. It may not have actually tallied at that point. America, yeah, they're still on +9. We're actually, we're almost influential with Persia and Carthage. We're not going to get a cultural victory, but, you know, we are actually getting close, and it would be possible if it were something that we wanted to do. Still got a lot of workers hanging around here, not doing an awful lot. 1, 2, 3. I suppose we could go over there and get another farm, although building farms in jungle isn't a great idea. Let's come down here. We could also go and connect this wine up, so we've got an extra wine as well. 1, 2, 3. We can't quite reach the wheat, unfortunately, but we'll go on to the next turn. Yep, you dislike Carthage. Well, everybody dislikes Carthage. And Dido's actually declared war on Darius, yes. Not too good for you, considering you're already at war with the French. I don't know how well that war's going on, because obviously I can't really see what's happening in Persia. But France did have a lot of units, and they do seem to still be reinforcing with them. So I don't know how well they're going to be able to cope with that, to be quite honest. And in goes some more cannons. I mean, their units are still quite backwards in, comparative to my technology, but Persepolis only has a strength of 46. Bear in mind it was a big city, but because it was captured by Carthage and then recaptured by myself, it actually lost quite a bit of its population. So it's quite a small city in terms of population growth, but quite a large city in terms of its borders. Kuala Lumpur desires the Pentagon. We could actually go ahead and build that, though I'm not sure how useful it's going to be. Morocco is planning an attack against France. I'm actually going to warn him of that, simply because Morocco's did start off friendly with us, but he has been a bit of an arse towards the end of the Let's Play. And because France already has most of their units attacking Persia, which I prefer they didn't do, but I don't really want to get involved, maybe he'll bring his units back to try and defend himself against Morocco. We'll really have to see how that is going to work out. This cargo ship is just going to go back to Fez because Morocco has always been the best source of gold for us. We're already on to the next turn here, although apparently we've got a unit that needs... Yep, you guys build a farm. So we're just going to try and hurtle through to get to the world leader vote. Napoleon plundered a trade route that Darius established between Pasargadae and Athens. A bit annoying, but at least it wasn't one of our caravans. We do lose a little bit of money from that, because obviously it is incoming trade. Even trade routes established by other players, or the AI, still give you money and science and things, so they do work both ways. You want to give me 7 gold for wine? Well, that's a much better offer than what America was willing to give me. And now, I know we didn't manage to take America's capital when we had our early war with them, but I think it's certainly safe to say that they didn't actually recover very well from us taking New York. They did expand. They got another city. They did have another city down here at some point, but Carthage took that and raised it, so it did kind of screw them over nicely, which is good for us, of course. Shouldn't really have any problems with barbarians now, in case there's any already on the map, simply because there aren't really... Mind you, I suppose there is still fog of war, so even though we've uncovered all the land, there is still fog of war, and barbarians could still spawn in that. So, Dido is secretly plotting against Washington. Don't like any of them particularly well, but I'll tell them both anyway. We also killed a Moroccan spy in Athens. So, you know, well, that's their fault. Let's go over here and we'll get... It says a farm, which would give it +4 food. It'll certainly help it grow, so let us try and do that. You guys, I think, just built a rail across there. That's already connected up via rail. So what we could do... Actually, we'll go over there and get that aluminium connected up. 1, 2, 3. It is close enough. Another cargo ship. They all seem to come off their routes at the same sort of time. And on to the next turn. Getting very close now. Now, it is quite possible that you will get to the point where you can start voting for a world leader and you still won't have enough votes. It may be because you don't have control of all of the city-states. It may be because... Yeah, I can't afford to give this fence. It may be because you don't have control of over all the city-states. It may be because you haven't built the wonders that give you additional votes, and maybe other civilizations have. But every time you vote yourself in as world leader and fail, you actually get extra votes on the next go. So each time that vote comes around, you will get closer and closer to actually getting it. And even though some of the city-states do get taken over, like of course Vilnius has been taken over by France, which means we can't have it as an ally, the number of votes you actually need is dependent on the number of civilizations and the number of city-states. So the number of votes can actually change when the number of city-states do. So you don't always have to worry about it. Sometimes wiping a city-state out helps, sometimes it doesn't. There's absolutely nothing we can do on that turn. Everything is pretty much just set to do its thing, so we'll go on to the next turn. We did get the pop-up there telling us that there was going to be a vote in session, because it's only 5 turns away now. So, the Great Firewall is only going to get a turn or 2 of use. And we're definitely not going to get as far as getting ourselves the... nuclear missile and guided missile. Definitely not going to get as far as getting ourselves the giant death robot, but you will see it at some point. I think I've only actually ever built it once in a game where I can't remember who I was playing. I think China was my next door neighbour because I remember she was being quite aggressive and I was having to fend her off. And I think it was when I first started playing this game, actually. I think it was when I was on, I don't know, sort of chieftain or war chief difficulty level. It's before I even started playing as Prince. And of course, it's much, much easier to get ahead on the science curve at that difficulty level because the player gets bonuses and the AI not so much. I don't even think I used them. I think I maybe attacked 1 or 2 units just to see what they did. But it's very, very rare in Civ 5 that you'll actually get to a point where you use those end game units. So you guys connect up that aluminium. Not that there's an awful lot of point in doing it, but it keeps everybody busy. It's just a bit of a shame that you can't just skip 4 turns and go, well, look, nothing's going to happen, and just auto-resolve anything that does, but I suppose a lot could happen in 4 turns. Nothing that we couldn't respond to, so I'm not worried about losing at this point. Nobody else is even close to a chance. Persia has lost its capital. In fact, what are you guys doing? Are you guys just trying to build a road through, well, probably to Passagarde now. Passagarde is actually losing health as well. Persia could very well end up being, oh, we're still waiting, are we? Persia could very well end up being wiped out. Whether that's going to happen within 4 turns, well, 3 turns now, is very, very unlikely. Let's go straight on to the next turn. They're already taking some... Oh, no, they've actually made peace now. I was going to say they're already taking some damage at Passagarde. In fact, that's actually been taken over by Carthage. I thought that was being attacked by the French. And that's being raised as well. I don't want to open my borders to you. So that just leaves Persia with 1 city. This tiny little 5 population city down here is now their capital, and they have absolutely nothing. Well, what can I say? They are completely screwed. It's still possible, of course, that Carthage may come down here and try and take this from them. We certainly don't know. But Passagarde is being raised. Morocco have got a lot of units down here too. Nothing really exciting happening. Barbarians taking their move. Camera going wild. Great Firewall has completed. Napoleon is plotting against Darius. You've only just made peace. Why are you plotting against him? Killed an American spy in Athens. Fantastic. Athens has finished the Great Firewall. Now let's go ahead and do the Pentagon just because we can. We won't actually finish it, but who cares? You guys go down here, build a farm, just so I don't get annoying pop-ups from you on the next 2 turns. And looking at the timer, I think the video length for this will probably work out just nicely with what I usually do. So let's look at this. We are literally 1 or 2 turns away from winning the game. We are gaining almost 1,800 science per turn, which is good, but not terribly fantastic. I'm not going to open my borders, so now you can't get your troops back. Ha ha. Gold, we're owning almost 600 per turn. There was a point where we were actually earning over 600 per turn, and we have 23,500 gold in the bank. Happiness is dropped quite a lot from what it was at one point, but it's actually still very good. And we're also earning fairly decent... well, no, we're not earning that decent culture. Culture could be a lot better there. One thing I did forget to do is I could have gone in and changed, because great merchants are now 6,000 faith because it gets more expensive each time. I could have actually gone for great scientists, and we could have got a couple of great scientists out and possibly got close enough to have unlocked the robots, but we wouldn't have really been able to do anything with them anyway, so it was a little bit pointless. You guys just go over there and build a farm so that you can leave me alone. Now all we have to do now is hit the next turn button, which I've already done. On the next turn we should be able to vote for the world leader, and then that should be the end of the game, and hopefully we will have won. With 57 iron, 50 horses, 23 oil, which we didn't really do anything with. Now, I did say at the beginning of this playthrough it was probably going to be a rather passive game, and while we did get into a few wars, particularly early on, and most of them of my own making, just to knock the AI down a peg or two, at least it hasn't turned into one of those games where I just started going for a domination victory. even though quite a few of the other civilizations have lost their capitals, but that's mainly been wars between them. One thing that you can do, which I didn't do in this playthrough, particularly when you've got as much money as I have, is you can actually go to other civilizations that aren't at war, and you can actually go, say for example, we could go to France, and we could try and make ourselves a trade with France, and we could say, I would like you to declare war on Morocco. What do you want for this? And he actually wants a lot of resources and other stuff. But we could probably just flat out give him money. Now, that's a stupid amount of gold per turn, and you'd never do anything that high. But sometimes you will find that AI is willing to go to war with each other for relatively small amounts of gold. So, not an awful lot we can do here. We need 40 delegates to win the World Leader proposal, and we actually have 42. Now, do be careful when you're voting, because if you vote for somebody else, you could accidentally make somebody win. I could give all my votes to Persia and give Persia an instant win here. Of course, we don't want to do that. We are voting for ourselves. We are voting for Greece. 42 votes. We are going to commit our delegates here. Yes, we are absolutely certain about that. You guys have nothing to do. I'm just going to sleep you because I actually have nothing for you to do. Cargo ships do nothing for a turn. Cargo ships do nothing for a turn. On to the next turn. Obviously, all of the AI will get to do their thing first before it processes. You'll pay for this, because it doesn't really matter, because I've already won. And that will actually be all of the 4 major victory types now covered on the channel. The only thing that we haven't covered is a time victory, which I don't intend to do, because all a time victory is basically you just play through the game without winning until you get to turn 500, and at turn 500, whoever has the highest score wins, which in this case would have been me anyway. The number of turns does depend on the game length. If you're playing quick, I think it's 350 or 333. Normal is 500. Epic is 750 and Marathon is like 1500 turns. But that's not something we have to worry about. Just let the city-states finish what they are doing. And then the barbarians will get their turn. Not sure what they've been up to in the last few thousand years, but we haven't seen an awful lot from them. There goes the barbarians. And there we go. The man who would be king. Actually, it's the first time I have won a victory with Alexander of Greece. So, we have triumphed. Let's just have a quick look at the demographics. So, we were absolutely top of absolutely everything by the end of that game. Bottom, of course, was Persia, because they only had 1 city left, which was teeny tiny. Unfortunately, of course, this doesn't count the civilizations that have been wiped out. Let us have a quick look at the rankings. There we go. Nice, we get a nice top score there. We could look at the replay, just very quickly. Let's have a look at the map. So, as you can see, we started out with our one little tiny city here, and, you know, we didn't really start to spread all that quickly. The AI usually has the advantage on. As you can see, America founded its second city before we did. So did France, I believe. We did get our second city up and running quite quickly. Carthage is expanding quite quickly, as are America. They're already at 3 cities. So is France, so is Morocco, so is Persia. We're still only on 2 here. There we get our third. Songhai goes and founds his second city right over there, which is a very strange place to put your second city down. We then move down here, of course, and put our 4th. And as you can see at this point, we've still got quite small borders. We didn't grow all that much. Persia's growing quite quickly. Songhai's growing like a weed, as it usually does, as was America. There we founded our 5th city and started to make this little bit of a blob across the landscape. There we took out... Whose city was that, actually? So it was a city that belonged to Persia that then got taken over by Carthage and razed, and then we built our next city there as well. So we actually have to thank Carthage, of course, for actually giving us a little bit of space to build there, or we wouldn't have had that spot. I think this is the point where we've already taken New York. We have that. Spain's already started to... Maybe that was actually a Spanish city that was taken over by the Songhai. That's actually quite possible. And this is the point where we're really starting to blob up. So, there was definitely a Spanish city being taken by Songhai. And this is just... That's where we got our land nicked. Then we stole Songhai's capital from them, and then we really blobbed up and just bisected the continent completely, and then we won. So turn 371 was the victory for Alexander of Greece. So there we go, guys. That is the end of this playthrough. I hope you've really enjoyed watching this diplomatic victory, and I'll see you next time. Like I said, probably going to do a one city challenge next and see how well that works out, and we'll also do at some point a random game at a higher difficulty level, and we'll just take whatever victory condition seems appropriate at the time. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye for now.